Hello everyone out there, welcome back to the Phantom's Fact YouTube channel. I am back with another review, and this week I'm reviewing Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, released this year in 2023, starring Kathryn Newton, Jonathan Myers, Paul Rudd, Evangeline Lilly, I think that's how you pronounce her name, Michael Douglas, Michelle Pfeiffer, Tony McCarthy, Bill Murray, and a bunch of other actors. And this movie, Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, is obviously the third in all the Ant-Man movies, and the first of Stage 5, I think, technically. So this is the first Stage 5 movie of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I probably should tell you my opinion of the other Ant-Man movies. I like them. They're fun little jaunty romps throughout the MCU, have some really creative fight scenes with the fact that Ant-Man shrinks and grows. I really like the first one with Paul Rudd's character in that. I feel like in the second one, it's just more fun. The villain is definitely better in the second one, and I do like the second one just for its funner atmosphere and stuff like that. And I know funner's not a word, don't fucking want to hear it. But yeah, I like the Ant-Man movies. Some people don't, but I don't know. I'm a fan of the Ant-Man movies. I think they're fun little creative romps in them. They don't need to be these big epic stories. But in Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, Ant-Man and his new family of the Pyms and Van Dyne with he's dating Hope Van Dam. I don't know if they're married. I don't think they are. His daughter, after he got blipped back, is now played by Kathryn Newton. And she creates a device that sends signals down to the quantum realm, with the original Wasp, Michelle Pfeiffer's character, was trapped in the quantum realm, but then they get sucked down into it and have to help. They realize that there's a whole universe and people down here who are fighting against Kang the Conqueror, played by Jonathan Myers. So, as I said, in this film, they're trying to make Ant-Man a bigger motion picture. They have these huge epic scale fights and stuff like that. This big universal alter-changing moment for Stage 5. Kang the Conqueror, our new main villain, is introduced and all that stuff. This movie's not that good. For the first third, it felt like the other Ant-Man movies. A down-to-earth, other exploration of Ant-Man's character and the fact that he isn't doing that much with himself after what happened in the Avengers. He wrote a book while Hope Van Dyne is working with the Pym Tech company to further the world better, while his daughter's also working on stuff, but also getting in trouble with jail and stuff like that. And it had me for those moments. The comedy in those moments matched the other Ant-Man films. I really did enjoy them. But once they get sucked into the quantum realm, this movie just turns into any, sci-fi adventure fantasy flick. The quantum realm itself, I will say, is very creative. The design of the quantum realm really is creative and interesting to be shown. I like all the different varieties of characters we see inside of it. We even have Bill Murray as a short cameo in this, even though he's doing an alright shtick as Bill Murray, but I love all of the designs of the creatures in here and all the stuff inside the quantum realm, the background visuals and stuff like that look cool. All these side creatures, even though it kind of turns into a basic sci-fi, the creature and designs I still really enjoy, and how they work with each other, how technology is almost organic at the same time. I like all of those things because I think they look cool, and the idea of the quantum realm and going to explore it is also interesting. And the effects of that works, but my main problem with the effects is you have the real actors against the backgrounds. The green screening really doesn't look that good. They don't look correctly composited in this, and it takes me out of it when I'm noticing all of this shit. And then you have MODOK in this movie, which, what the fuck were they thinking with that? Fucking Shark Boy and Lava Girl, George Lopez ass looking thing, bringing back Yellow Jacket to play that character. Out of all people, why the fuck would you do that? And it really doesn't work. I don't know why they thought bringing MODOK into this would be a good idea. Because it wasn't. Trust me, it wasn't worth bringing MODOK into this. They should have just had him be just a robot. You didn't need to do it that way. And they also just poke fun of it instead of keeping the character serious. But anywho, but yeah, I think the cinematography in those scenes work well, and I especially think if you see it in 3D or IMAX, it would look very impressive, even though I said that a lot of the green screening of the characters in shots don't work the best. It's all right. And the big action scenes, I like them, because yet again, you get more Ant-Man stuff where he turns giant and turns small and stuff like that, and you even have ants coming back in a creative way, even though it's like, this whole thing where it's like these ants have been living for 1,000 years advancing themselves, but we didn't see that, even though I thought that would be interesting, and fuck knows about that. But anyways, the main problem of this movie is the story and characters. It really falters in this. Most of the characters in this are just standard themselves. The actors are still playing it well, but they don't feel like they have any character dynamics or growth going on. Like, in the trailer, you think that it's going to be a whole thing where Ant-Man works with Kang because he can make it so those 5 years of his daughter's life he would be there for. And I was like, maybe that would be interesting. They don't do that at fucking all. And then you have, later in the film, him yelling at Kang like, you broke your word! This, that. And I was like, he was threatening your daughter, and that's why you worked with him. What else were you expecting? But no, I thought that would have been a really good dynamic to explore. The fact that he was gone for so many years of her life, and that's why she's acting out and trying to help people. But you really don't get that type of thing. Like, she wants to stay and help the rebellion against Kang first, but Paul Rudd's like, no, we can't do that. It's not our fight. And he just all of a sudden is working with them now, and his daughter has no problem with it, which I'm like, Catherine Newton is such a great actress. I've seen her in Detective Pikachu and other things, and Freaky. I feel like you could have gotten... him and her have great chemistry as father and daughter, but I just feel like they didn't try to do anything with the characters. Same thing with Michelle Pfeiffer's character, who has this whole backstory in the quantum realm connecting with Kang. And yet again, it really doesn't show that much. It's like, what is the point of doing it if you're not going to do anything with it? Like, it's literally just her being like, no, I can't say, I don't want to relive what I've done. And it's like, why wouldn't you inform them of what the fuck is going on when you know that there's a multiversal enemy destroying and conquering places in here, and if he escapes, he's gonna keep destroying the multiverse. And it's like, you don't tell them about any of this. Like, what were they thinking? This movie is so important to Stage 5 that I feel like they were just trying to set up Kang's character and going forward what's going to be happening, and didn't try to make a good Ant-Man movie. They just tried to make a setup movie for Stage 5. And I will say, Jonathan Mayer's performance as Kang is really good. I think he takes the role completely seriously, and from the way that he's giving his dialogue, I'm not gonna pick that up, by the way he's giving his dialogue, you can see that there's something that's propelling his character's motives. And I do feel like the problem with him is his acting is good as Kang, but the character isn't all that interesting because it's all kind of just set up. Because he just keeps talking vaguely about these things, and we don't get an explanation for his motives to why he's doing this. Because I think they're trying to set up Kang and the Council of Kang in the future, and it's like, try to focus on his character more. That's the major problem with this film. The action and the cinematography and the effects, and even the idea of going into the quantum realm, I like. But they really needed to try to take a look at the characters and try to make them enjoyable to watch for us to enjoy this epic adventure on grand scales that will affect the multiverse and the MCU going forward, but they don't do anything interesting. Like, Paul Rudd's talking to Catherine Newton like, listen, if we leave here sometimes, you know, it might be 5 years. What were your mother thinking? Stuff like that. I'm like, that would be an interesting idea. But they don't do anything with it. Like, they could have done such a great job with characters, and especially what I was saying with Kang, saying that I'll give you the time you want with your daughter. Obviously, all the actors are still very charming. Paul Rudd's charming and stuff like that in this, but he really doesn't seem like that interesting of a character because they don't write anything more for him. In the first movie, he at least has motives and he's a clever, smart thief. In the second one, he's a bit less, but he still has some motives, you know, even Michael Douglas's character and his daughter are more focused on in the second one, which I don't have a problem with. But in this one, they try to focus on this family dynamic, which I honestly think would have made a better movie, a better Ant-Man movie, you know, small scales, even them just chilling in real life and not going into the quantum realm, but they obviously have to set up stuff for the future, and I don't know how excited I am. The MCU at this point, the comedy really doesn't work anymore for me in this. There's a couple of handful of jokes that made me laugh. I mean, it's not Thor, Love and Thunder comedy bad, but it's not great comedy. And as I said, the characters in this, all of the main cast, are doing their best, but I feel like they didn't write anything interesting. As I said, I almost feel like just maybe focusing on Ant-Man making a deal with Kang to go back in time so he can spend those years with his daughter would have been a better idea. Like, there were so many missed potential things, and there are moments that I do think, like, the family dynamic works. Like, when all three, the Wasp, Ant-Man, and then Ant-Man's daughter are all fighting Kang, I was like, oh, I like that. And then Michael Douglas shows up with all the ants, and I really enjoy that. How they, like, all fight back against Kang and stuff like that. But Michelle Pfeiffer also just hides all this information and doesn't tell us in a huge exposition dump later in the film. Why did she keep this? I guess it's kind of explained, but I don't know at the same time. But, yeah, obviously I don't think this film from a character or story perspective is necessarily the best. You have such generic lines, generic motivation, nothing that really seems to be interesting here. When I thought from the trailer, I was like, that actually seems interesting, but they don't do anything with it. And it's like, this movie just feels like setup for later on in the MCU. But it's a hard recommend for me because some people, yet again, may find the comedy enjoyable. There is more epic grand vista of seeing this in the cinema, seeing all of the areas of the creative quantum realm. And yeah, I do want people to see that, and maybe seeing it in 3D would make the ticket admission alone. But I would say out of the MCU, the two Ant-Man movies may not be the most important movies, but they're fun and entertaining. This one is creative in the quantum realm and has bigger action scenes of creativity and creative moments, like the buildings are alive, or there's a scene where Ant-Man keeps multiplying into a bunch of other versions of him and they all start doing different things, but then he hears his daughter and they all start working together, and I was like, I liked that scene. Why couldn't we get more creative stuff like that to really propel the characters? But I don't know. And then, even in that scene, I'm not going to spoil it, but they do something so stupid that I don't understand why. But, yeah, I really do feel like this one really isn't worth watching unless you want to see some good cinematography, a good performance from Jonathan Majors. All the performers are doing a good job in this, and if you want to see Kang with a good-ass performance behind him, see it then. Maybe see it on the big screen in 3D, but I would maybe just say wait until it comes out on Disney Plus and watch it. There really isn't any purpose to wasting your time seeing it in the theaters. Yeah, the MCU is kind of just at this point, I feel, and I don't know what to say about it. But, yeah, that's all I have to say, really. But, anyways, what did you guys think of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania? Obviously, I did not think the most positive towards this film, but other people may have other opinions. So leave those in the comment section down below. Please make sure to like, subscribe down below as well. share the channel. I always like to see the growth of it. Next week's another review this week will be of Cocaine Bear. I can't believe I said that, but yeah, that'll be next. And then next week, I'm working on a script for Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom review. So hopefully I will have that in-depth review out next week. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all next time.